SITREP World Briefing for May 14, 2026. Russia launched a large, overnight drone and missile attack on Kyiv early Thursday, striking the Ukrainian capital in a barrage that killed at least one person and injured many others. Ukrainian authorities said the assault hit the city after repeated warnings of incoming aerial threats, and reports also described a wider Russian air attack affecting other parts of Ukraine. The attack highlighted Kyiv's central role in the war as both Ukraine's political capital and a target for Russia, while fighting remains concentrated across the east and south. Moscow has repeatedly tried to overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses with combined waves of drones and missiles, and Thursday's strike fit that pattern by pairing nighttime pressure on civilians and infrastructure. For Ukraine's leadership, the renewed bombardment adds pressure on air defense networks already tasked with protecting Kyiv, energy sites, and transport links, while the country continues to mobilize manpower and foreign military aid. Lebanese and Israeli delegations were set to begin a third round of talks in Washington on Thursday as their latest ceasefire approached expiration, placing U.S. diplomacy at the center of efforts to prevent a broader Israel-Hezbollah war. The negotiations took place while Israeli military action continued in Lebanon. Israeli strikes on Lebanon killed 12 people on Wednesday, while the Washington talks were underway or imminent. The diplomatic track has been shaped by months of cross-border fire between Israel and Hezbollah and by the failure of earlier pauses to produce a durable settlement, leaving negotiators to address both immediate security arrangements and the broader question of how to keep armed actors away from the frontier. The stakes for Washington are high because a collapse of the ceasefire would risk reopening a major regional front at a time when the United States is already trying to contain overlapping crises involving Israel, Iran, and allied armed groups. For Lebanon, the talks are tied to civilian safety and the return of state authority in border areas, while Israel is seeking stronger guarantees against attacks from Lebanese territory. Health authorities in France and the South Pacific moved on May 14th to contain a hantavirus outbreak linked to passengers from the expedition cruise ship MV Hondius, saying the known infections remained limited while monitoring continued for contacts in several jurisdictions. French officials said a French woman who traveled on the ship had developed a severe infection and remained hospitalized in critical condition, while public health authorities emphasized that the outbreak appeared isolated and was being closely traced. The current response has focused on identifying fellow travelers and close contacts. Officials also tracked passengers who disembarked far from metropolitan France, including a woman on the Pitcairn Islands, the British Overseas Territory in the South Pacific, who entered isolation after contact with the outbreak but showed no signs of illness. In France, authorities said close contacts tested so far have returned negative results. Travelers can disperse quickly across continents and islands, forcing health agencies to coordinate testing, isolation, and follow-up in places separated by thousands of miles. For now, officials have centered their message on vigilance while watching whether any additional symptomatic contacts emerge from the Hondius voyage. Sources are available at sitrepbrief.com.